Welcome back to Advertising Week 2018. I'm Patrick McGinnis, and I'm coming at you from the WWE AW360 live stage, and I'm joined here by Ophir Tanz, CEO of GumGum. Welcome.
Sir. Thank you. Good to be here.
So you're going to be talking about artificial intelligence today, and I want to start just talking kind of 10,000-foot level. How has AI, artificial intelligence, kind of changed the world of marketing so far?
That's an interesting question. I think the world of marketing is probably the industry that's been most affected by AI in sort of real dollar terms today. So if you think about it, what is AI good at? It's good at predictive analytics. It's good at pattern recognition. And if you look at marketing and advertising in general, you're dealing with very large data sets. You're dealing with an understanding of sort of effectiveness. And a lot of the components that are sort of necessary to go into training neural networks or other forms of AI are really present there. So if you're talking about targeting marketing messages across trillions of options in very surgical ways, it's a really perfect use of AI. I don't think it's really a surprise that some of the companies making the most headway and putting the most investment into these categories are Facebook and Google.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're good at content recommendations, if you're good at search, if you're good at targeting ads, this is core to those businesses. So I think the impact of AI on marketing has been very dramatic.
And so that's where we are today. Where do you see things kind of evolving in the next 3 to 5 years?
Over the next 3 to 5 years, as it relates to marketing in particular, I think so much of the process after the initial creative creation will be automated. I think the decisions will be made largely by machines. If you're talking about programmatic advertising, we're already living in a scenario where a lot of the understanding of content, whether it's visual or semantic, and the understanding of users and predictions about their future behavior and decisions about bid prices when you're sort of in a live ad auction. That's all already being done by AI. Right. So that will just get a lot better, which will be really interesting to see. And I think increasingly we're going to see the creative process, the creative element and component start to be touched by AI in meaningful ways as well.
Yeah, so let's unpack that a little bit. You're right. AI is already, in the sort of some of the more mundane tasks is already in the mix.
Yeah.
How about going forward for the creative part of the business?
Yeah, that's interesting. We've actually done some work there as an organization recently. I could talk about that, but I think it was in 2017, almost 1,000 articles for the Washington Post were written by AI and published. You could argue that is a...
What does the byline say? AI?
Yeah, I think it's more sort of rote informational pieces, but that's something that humans would have historically absolutely had to have done. We recently did something at GumGum in partnership with Rutgers University and with an artist and technologist named Pudar Van Arman. And we basically commissioned 5 artists to produce paintings. And we also had this machine learning platform called Cloud Painter actually produce a physical painting as well. And we held these panels and had people vote on what they thought was produced by the machine, what they thought was produced by humans. And almost nobody got it right.
Yeah.
And what was coming out of the cloud painting sort of mechanism was really kind of beautiful art. So the reality with AI is we're always kind of raising the bar. And whenever we tend to solve a particular set of challenges, people say, well, that's not real AI. When we are able to achieve this next thing, that's more challenging, that'll be more real. And it's kind of a subjective decision, but I think we're already seeing art being created, we're seeing music being created, we're seeing articles being written. I think we're in inning 1, and it's all going to get a lot more impressive. But I absolutely expect that will be a real commercializable, usable technology in the creative realm over the next 3 to 5 years. Absolutely.
And so, when you say something like that, people tend to get a little scared that the robots are going to replace them.
Yeah.
How realistic is that? And what do you see of the role of AI replacing humans in the marketplace?
I think it's a very realistic and legitimate concern. Mm-hmm. So what you've seen historically is robots have been very good at replacing manual labor.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing now with the advent of AI in particular is you're able to sort of replace lower level but still cognitively oriented tasks, like manning a cash register, for example. So I think there's going to be, and we're already seeing elements of this occurring today, a massive replacement of human labor with machine labor that is sort of cognitive in nature, even if it's at a low level. I don't really see an obvious replacement for those roles in the way that we saw in previous sort of technological revolutions. So I think it's a real cause for concern. And I think it's something society is going to have to grapple with. This is why we're hearing a lot of talk about things like universal basic income.
Yes.
Because there's going to be a massive displacement of jobs, and at the same time, we're going to see massive concentrations of wealth with entities that are very good at sort of leveraging this technology and beating the system. So when you combine those two things, I think it creates for an environment that I'm somewhat nervous about. So it'll be interesting. I think that we would be wise to take a hard look at these things sooner than later before these discrepancies get too large.
Yeah, I think it's an important conversation to have. Ophir, Tanz of Gum Gum, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.